Hi again, everyone. I got a request or question in one of my videos, specifically asking if I could go over the double base advance on the doubles on the flip card, and I'm happy to do that. So I've got a couple of players here from the Tigers, Mickey Stanley batting and Dick Sharon on first base. Notice that Dick Sharon is an A plus base runner. That's the best base running rating you can have. Kind of an anomaly on this Tigers team. There's a lot of slow footed, plodding base runners on this 1974 Tigers team. Probably one of the reasons why they didn't have a great record. But Dick Sharon's an exception to that. He's an A plus. So let's say he's on first base. Mickey Stanley's batting, and we roll a 56 and we get a 99 on the green and red. And I'm not rolling the pitcher die, which you'll see why in a moment. But the 56, let's say he is facing a right-handed pitcher, you get a double two over there on the right side. And the 99 ensures that it's going to be a double because it is higher than the 90, that is the automatic hit rating for Stanley against right-handed pitchers. And that's why I didn't roll the pitcher die for this example. Okay, so double two. We're going to flip a card. Let's say we got this one, and we're going to go to the DB row. 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. And double two is going to go to center field. And the next notation you see after it is ILG, which means it's in the left field gap, in the gap between left and center field. But it's going to be fielded by the center fielder. Okay, you have 2 capital letters next, A and C. So in the doubles base advance, the first of the 2 letters refers to a situation where there is a runner on first base and only a runner on first base. Obviously, anybody second or third will score on the double, but what we want to know is, does the runner on first score? And the A is what we use when there's a runner only on first, nobody ahead of him. And then the second letter is what we use when there is a runner in scoring position in addition to the runner on first. So a runner on second, runner on third, or bases loaded. What happens to that runner on first? Okay, so let's take the A first. On the doubles chart here, you can see there are 5 different codes. O is an outfield check routine. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. That applies to both singles and doubles. And it's a special routine you have to go through to test outfielders' range and sometimes their arm. A C means manager's decision. A 3 means the runner advances to third and only to third. A B means that any runner B or better scores. A C has a manager's decision, and a C minus runner only goes to third. And if you have an A, then it means A plus or A scores and everybody else has a manager's decision. So let's go back to the card here. Sharon's on first, nobody's ahead of him. It's a double to center field. An A means that an A or an A plus runner automatically scores. Sharon's an A plus, he scores. That's how you resolve that. Now, let's say there was a runner ahead of him on second base, and let's say here's one of those plotting Tigers base runners, Gates Brown. He's a C minus, the worst base running rating you can have. And if he is ahead of Dick Sharon, think about it as Sharon needs to wait a little bit and see what Brown's going to do, in addition to following the ball and checking with his third base coach. So in this case, because Brown is ahead of him, Sharon can't move around the bases quite as fast. And now we have a C, which means a manager's decision. So that would mean that you have the choice to send Sharon from first. Brown's going to score, but his presence on the bases slows Sharon down enough that he's not going to automatically score. He's going to have to test the outfielder's arm. Okay, so those are A and C. Now, if Stanley had rolled a double one, in that case, regardless of whether there are runners on base ahead of the runner on first, a B or better scores. So Sharon, being an A plus, would score in either of those situations, with him on first base alone or Brown ahead of him on second. Okay, so that's how the B works. And then in number 3, you could see if this were a double 3, it would go to right field down the line, and Sharon would only get to third if he were in a situation where he's the only base runner on. He would only get to third, and it doesn't matter the speed there. When you see a 3, that means, the fielder got it quickly, got it back into the field of play, and the runner on first has to hold up at third. And then if there were a runner ahead of him, he would have a coach's decision about whether to go. And again, these are the possible codes. The first letter refers to the situation where the runner is on first and no one's ahead of him. And the second letter refers to the situation where he's on first and there are runners ahead of him. Doesn't matter which base they're on. As long as there are runners ahead of him, you use the second code. If you do have to do a coach's decision, you're going to test the outfielder's arm using these two charts and the base runner's speed. Notice with the doubles charts, there's one chart for all fields for 0 or 1 out, and there's one for all fields with 2 outs. And obviously the base runner has a better chance of scoring with 2 outs because he's probably going with contact. It's a little bit different than the singles, where the 2 out advance is on the flip card itself in parentheses next to the other notation. So you'll notice, like on a single where you have a 3, runner on first would only go to second. But if there's 2 outs, if he's an A or better, he goes to third. So that's how the game handles 2 out advances with singles. But with doubles, they handle it via the chart. And you're going to check the fielder's arm against the base runner's speed. And so in the case of Dick Sharon being an A+, he's got a pretty good chance to score. You're going to roll the red die. And if the outfielder's arm, say, was an A, 3 to 9, he'd be safe. 0 to 2, he'd be out. And then D, he would score automatically with the ADV. But then you'll notice if there's 2 outs with his head start, he's going to score on anything automatically except for an outfielder with an A arm. And then he's got a 9 in 10 chance of scoring. So that's how double base advance works. Again, like just about everything with this game, a little bit of practice and you'll have it pretty easily. The only thing I didn't go over here is a situation where you have an outfield check. And like I said, I'm going to do that in another video. You can see here on a double 2, it's left field down the line, and you have an O. If there's a runner only on first, you're going to do an outfield check on the left fielder. And I'll come back and talk about how you do that, as well as how you do it on singles as well. All right, thanks for watching.